Hi and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm gonna make a pâté chinois. This is a classic Quebecois recipe. It seems like this is similar to a shepherd pie, and also the story behind would be that the Chinese people, when they came to work on the Canadian railway back in 1900 something, um, that's why the Chinois means Chinese. So pâté chinois for Chinese pâté, because that time it seems that they have this type of food is economic and is very filling the stomach properly. So there's protein, there's corn, and there's potatoes. So this is the basic. I'm gonna show you my version of the pâté chinois. I'm using ground meat. It's beef, and I have potatoes, milk and butter for the mashed potatoes, salt and pepper. I have onion powder, thyme, a little bit of concentrate of beef broth, and onions to go inside the meat, and corn. I'm using two kind of corns. One is a cream and one is the whole kernel. So yeah, this is cream style corn, and this is whole corn. So I'm gonna be using this big glass pan to make my pâté chinois. So I will go through step by step. I'm gonna add a little bit more meat, which I unfroze. This one is fresh, but I had a small portion that was frozen. So I'm gonna use that as well because we need to make a big portion. So it's an easy recipe. All my family loves this dish, and especially children. When they were young, they were going through with no problem with that dish. So let's start right now. I'm gonna peel the potatoes and cut the onions, and I'm coming back. This I'll return it in the fridge for now because I'm not using right away the milk and the meat as well. So let's start with the potatoes. So now my potatoes are peeled. I'm going to rinse them and cut them in small pieces. And I'm gonna keep these all the peel from the potatoes. There's some nice crispy chip we can make with that. So I will try that in another video. We're just gonna cut them in pieces so they cook fast. Once everything is nicely cut, then we're gonna put water to cover the potatoes, and we're gonna boil them until they are very soft. So we're gonna cut the onion very small because we don't like to have like a big chunk. It has to be quite. I don't have the chef technique, so don't worry. I can still cook even if I don't have the chef technique. I'm gonna put a little bit oil, vegetable oil, and we're gonna come to put our nice onion all cut small. And we're gonna get the onions to melt and caramelize a little bit. We don't want them to burn, but we want them to a little bit soften and caramelized. And for the potatoes, we need to put salt, at least a big teaspoon and a half. So this is gonna cook in high temperature. This I'm gonna cook in high temperature to start, and then after we're gonna put our meat inside when the onions are melted. So we're gonna cook our onions until they are softened, that they caramelize a little bit. We don't want to burn them, we just want to soften them. And then we're gonna add the meat after. So you see our onions starting to melt. It's getting like a little translucent color. So that means they are almost ready. We have a little bit of brown, but not too much. That gives a nice taste, and it smells very good. Just cooking onions smells good. So we're gonna add our meat. It's how elegant I cook. So I keep my temperature high to cook the meat. So we're gonna completely cook it. When I cook the meat, I like to add a little bit of onion powder. I'm adding as well a little bit of concentrate, maybe 1 tablespoon. Don't put too much of that one because it's very salty, but it's gonna bring more taste to the beef. I put a thyme as well. You can go generous with that one. And of course, I'm not gonna put salt because you want to undo the meat so it comes not jam pack. So I have this tool. I think it's going well with that one. We need to work on it a bit. So now you can see the meat is all cooked and it's all going into, there's no more, all the grains are separate of the meat. You see a little bit of fat liquid inside, so I might remove a little bit of it because we don't want too much of this water inside. So I'm gonna remove it. For now, I'm gonna let it rest. It's very hot, and our potatoes are still cooking, so we're gonna wait our potatoes are done. So now the potatoes are completely melted, completely soft. It breaks, so we're gonna empty the water, and then we're gonna mash them with the mixer. So now that the potatoes are strained, I'm gonna add some butter and make it melt a little bit. And then I will add some milk and mix it all together. So we want a nice and texture of the potatoes. It's gonna be creamy, but still it's gonna hold together. So we don't want it too much creamy, but just enough so you will see the texture I'm talking about. Now I need to add a little bit more milk because it's not enough creamy to my taste. And we're gonna add salt and pepper as well. So this is the way I'm doing my mashed potatoes. There's still gonna be sometimes a little pieces of potatoes, but they are so soft that to me I don't mind. It gives a nice, see, look at this is the consistency that we're looking for. It still holds together, but it's not too much dry either. So that's what we're looking for to put on our pâté chinois. So it's time now to do the layers. So the first thing that's gonna go in the bottom is of course the meat. So I remove most of the fat. I left a little bit, as you can see, but it's gonna give a little bit moist because we're gonna put in the oven for at 350. We're gonna, as soon as we finish our mixture, our setup, we're going to put it in the oven. So now I realize I made a little bit too much meat, but that's not a problem because I'm gonna make another small one on the side. Somebody's gonna eat it, that's sure. So once the meat is there, we're gonna put our creamy corn, and we're gonna put our kernel, whole kernel, des grains de maïs. Oops. Some went on the floor. I'll fix it after. So we're just gonna put the layer of corn. And we want to mix the creamy with the grain one. So that's our second layer. Our third layer will be the potatoes. So here we have our mashed potatoes. Basically, we're just gonna cover if I have enough, then I'm gonna make another one with the small quantity left. So I think one package of meat was enough. And I'm just gonna cover like this. Now it's pretty full. It's pretty full, so when I cook it in the oven, I'm gonna put like a cookie pan in the bottom because we don't want the juice to overflow. So I'm gonna put a pan with the aluminum paper, and it's gonna protect the oven. So I think that's That's good. So you see here we have 3 layers of meat, corn, and potatoes, mashed potatoes. We put a little paprika on top just to give it a color. And we put this dish in the oven for at least 30 minutes. So as I mentioned, I'm gonna put it on top of a cookie pan with aluminum paper. So if it overflows, it's gonna fall inside and not in the oven because it's a pain to wash an oven. So now we have our nice pâté chinois, which is finalized after 30 to 40 minutes in the oven. It's the crust is nice, the color is beautiful, and it's gonna be good. And you know that it's ready when in the oven it was bubbling, and the crust is nice and brown, uh, like a little bit like a brown color. So we're gonna serve this one in a plate, and I show you the result after. So you see how it's hot. We normally serve it in square to make a nice plate. So usually we serve the pâté chinois with some beets, ketchup, and little pickles. So these are sweet pickles, and this is homemade beets. And you can use either regular ketchup or a homemade ketchup as well. So let's taste it. So I will leave the ingredients and the recipe in the description below. So let's dive in. It's very hot, so it's a normal dish for any weekday. Very good, very simple. Yes, it takes a little bit step to do it, but at the end it's very good and children will love it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.